What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. We've got some breaking news. The Bears have extended cornerback Kyler Gordon to a 3-year, $40 million extension with $31.25 million guaranteed. Not far off from my projection on Friday after we saw Jalen Petrie sign his new deal with the Texans. I'm going to break down this deal, both for the short and the long term, and why the Bears decided to commit to Kyler Gordon even before the NFL draft. But guys, it's been a hell of a weekend. Masters Sunday, what a day that was. Rory McIlroy finding a way. My son's second birthday was yesterday. That was a lot of fun. Here, bringing you guys this reaction video. I would appreciate the love and support. If you hit that subscribe button, go ahead and like the video as well. And I think we're like 10 subs away, actually, from 120,000 subscribers. So if you don't mind hitting that button if you haven't already. 100% free Bears coverage. We are so close to the NFL draft. Okay, Kyler Gordon on board through 2028. We kind of knew this was coming. It was just a matter of when. The breadcrumbs have been there, really starting with Ben Johnson's introductory press conference. He went out of his way to mention Kyler Gordon as a player that he's excited to have on this team. Dennis Allen did as well when he had his introductory press conference. And then also Ryan Poles at the owners' meeting said that an extension for Gordon was a priority for the team. That was the word he used, but admitted he didn't know when it would happen, before the draft, after the draft. I think the Jalen Petrie contract probably kind of put the wheels in motion to get this wrapped up because, as we kind of outlined on Friday, very similar caliber players. Petrie's probably been slightly better in volume statistics through his 3 years, but I thought in 2024 Gordon had the better year, so not surprised to see Gordon get slightly more. Petrie got 3 for 39 with 29 guaranteed. Gordon got 3 for 40 with 31 and a quarter guaranteed. So it's kind of how it goes. When a player at your position gets a deal and you're in the same tier as that player, typically you're going to get a tick more, and that's why I projected 3 for 40 with 30 guaranteed, and he got just more than that on the guaranteed. So congrats to Kyler Gordon. I think he's worth it. I think it's good. It's good symbolism. This was Ryan Poles' first draft pick back in 2022. Remember, Chicago didn't have a first-round pick in that draft, and he took Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker, two pretty good picks. I mean, obviously, Brisker, his main issue has been health, the concussions, but when he's been out there, he's been a player I would give a second contract to if it weren't for the concussions, but unfortunately, you cannot give him a second contract, at least not right now. But for Gordon, pretty easy decision. He's had a couple of minor injuries. He's missed 9 games in 3 years, but listen, I think there's still more to be had with this player, and I think in a more aggressive, exotic-minded defense that we should get from Dennis Allen compared to Matt Eberflus, especially in the secondary, you're going to see Allen deploy Gordon in a lot of different roles. Obviously, just straight-up man coverage in the slot, guarding slot receivers and tight ends, but I think more so playing downhill. We've seen flashes of that. We've seen how willing and how good of a tackler Kyler Gordon is in space. I think you can use him, excuse me, as a blitzer more than we've seen in the past. I would hope that they do that, and I think you'll see some of that. And I think there's still room to grow here. I don't think you're paying a finished product whatsoever. We know he can cover. We know he can tackle and help and run support. I think he's emerging as a team leader on this team. And when you kind of outline the secondary, and we did this on Friday, I think outside of Jaylon Johnson, when you add up all the factors, age, talent, upside, consistency, what he brings to the table, I think he's the second most important player in your secondary. Tyrique Stevenson, a player I'm still hopeful for. Let's face it, that's a coin flip at this point if he ends up hitting. Jaquan Brisker, I like him, but he missed the final 12 games last year with a concussion, has had a couple of other concussions before that. Kevin Byard, solid vet, 32 years old, though, final year of his deal. Terell Smith is on the roster. I think it's pretty clear after Jaylon Johnson, Kyler Gordon is not only the best player in your secondary, but the most valuable and most important moving forward because in the year of 2025, you're sitting in nickel more often than not, and that gets Kyler Gordon on the field quite a bit. And with how good and how violent of a tackler he is, he almost serves as that third linebacker sometimes. So I like the move. It makes him the highest paid nickel in the league, but that's just part of doing business. And the reason you do it now is because since he has 1 year left at about $4.5 million, it really is going to turn into like a 4 for 44, 4 for $45 million extension. So you're talking 10, 11 million bucks per year. We'll see how they structure it, if they give him a big signing bonus to keep those cap hits down or not. But they can definitely do that in their favor to free up a little cap space here if they choose to do so. So congrats to Kyler Gordon. Grade this move A, B, C, D, or F. How do you feel about Gordon getting a contract extension from the Chicago Bears? A, B, C, D, or F? I think it's a A- type of deal. Obviously, anytime you make someone the highest paid at their position, there's some level of risk. But young, ascending, I think this defense will suit him better. I'm pretty excited about what he's going to bring to the table in Dennis Allen's defense. And by the way, he'll only be 26 this year. Okay, excuse me. Let's talk about who else could get extended as I've got a few more minutes here. Joe Thuney, I think, is a player you got to think about. Now, I certainly understand waiting for the draft for that one. If they end up taking a player that they're high on at guard, maybe they'll play this year out with Thuney and just see how it goes. Now, to me, he's your best offensive lineman right now, so I'd be pretty comfortable giving him like a 2-year extension moving forward. Whether or not they do that remains to be seen, but I got to think that's more likely than not. But I do think you might as well wait until the draft comes and goes with how soon it is before making a decision. I mean, who knows? Maybe they end up with Donovan Jackson or Jonah Savainia or someone they feel like is a future starter at left guard, and they don't want to, give him a 3-year deal, and then you draft this player and you don't know when he's going to play. Obviously, Jonah Jackson, they gave him a 1-year extension upon trading for him. So unless this year's a disaster, he's going to be here beyond 2025. So TBD on Thuney, but I still think that one happens. TJ Edwards, I mean, you really just have your two linebackers right now. Tremaine Edmonds, who's got 2 years left, but the Bears have an out after this year. If this year doesn't go that well, hopefully it does under Dennis Allen. TJ Edwards is a free agent after this year. I thought he was better 2 years ago than last year, but I still think he's a guy I'd give like a 1 or a 2-year extension to because you're thin at that position right now. Again, they'll probably wait for the draft to come and go and see what that position looks like for them, not only for 2025 but moving forward. But keep an eye on TJ Edwards as a potential player that they could extend. Beyond that, you're not going to extend Brisker, like I said. I think you got to play this year out, see how it goes. If anything, you got to add safety help to hedge for that situation. I don't think Kevin Byard's a player you extend at 32. I think you play this year out. If he plays at a high level, give him a 1-year deal in the offseason. If not, no harm, no foul. You move on from a veteran of his caliber. That's a pretty easy decision. So we'll see what happens there. Braxton Jones with the injury, I think they're going to add help at left tackle anyway in the draft. So I don't really think there's anyone else on the roster that you would kind of be really willing to extend right now based on their contract statuses. I'm more intrigued to see if they restructure a player or two to free up some cap space because before this extension, I think the Bears had like $9 million in cap room, which isn't that much. That will pay for your draft class, and then you'll maybe have a couple million left over for the season. So you're going to have to free up at least a little bit. Most players or most teams like to have at least $5 million in cap space, if not more, heading into the regular season. And once they pay their draft class, they're not going to have that. Now, this Gordon extension can free up a couple million for this year, so that certainly could help a little bit, but I still do wonder if a guy like Montez Sweat or Jaylon Johnson or DJ Moore gets restructured. Now, obviously, that kicks money down the road, so you would only do it with the player you're very confident and comfortable with being on this roster beyond this year based on your roster construction. So that's why I point to those 3 players as possibilities because you would assume, unless one of them just has a really bad year, that they're going to be here at least through 2026. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Chicago Bears Now. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We will be back in studio tomorrow. We're going to do a fan-led mock draft on tomorrow's live show. If we had 120,000 subscribers, let me go ahead and hit the refresh button here. Let's see where we're sitting at. We're 4 subs away. 119,996. You watching right now could be the 120,000th subscriber. So if you want to help us make that happen, that would be awesome. We appreciate your love and support. We'll see you tomorrow. Bear down.